sitting there having this thought. This thought about getting it out the mud. Started from the bottom. Things of that nature, right? And excuse me, but like, hey, I ain't cut my hair. It's Saturday. I'm chilling. You know, for the most part. But on my way back home, I had this on my mind. I had a few things on my mind, but this was one of the things that I was kind of talking to myself about, if I want to just be real. Getting it out the mud. I don't think I've heard any other race of people glorify or make significant the fact of getting it out the mud. Real talk. Because, and I might have seen this like somewhere else, but it was just interesting that my thought kind of correlated with it. Is no other culture does this. No other culture represents or boasts the fact that they got it out the mud. And majority of the time, if we entertainers playing in somebody else's game, right? Like a basketball player, a football player, a rapper, certain shit like that right there. We're the only ones that boast about this shit right here. Is the getting it out the mud mindset. See, the thing that got me about this thought was I was thinking about when I was younger, right? When I was younger, I had dreams. I used to make posters about them. Used to draw about it. I was never really worried about school. It was like I already knew what it was that I wanted to do, which was crazy. That camera is like extremely close, but I already knew what I wanted to do. It had to do with like cars, automotive, and fabrication and things like that. Just building cars up in a way to, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna go no deeper than that. Just having to do with cars, you know. But my father was already doing the same thing. And this here is what got me. Because he was already doing the same thing. He had already started it. And things like that. While I'm like young, you know what I'm saying? Very young. But I used to always look at what it was before I even knew exactly what it was he was doing. I already wanted to do it. God dog it. Hold on. God dog it. I might have to splice that together. But my father had already started this, right? He had already started doing this. Exactly what it was that I wanted to do. He was just doing it on a different, maybe scale or something like that, right? But at the same time, it was still the same thing. Still the foundation, right? And me as a youngster, shit like that, and this here's what tripped me out about it. Because as a youngster, I'll look at my pops and see what it is that he doing and be like, damn, I want to do that in my own way. I want to do that how I would do it. I want to do that. I want to get it out the mud. Out the mud. Start from nothing, right? I want to start from nothing. I want to build it to be what it is that I want it to be. I want to start it the way that I want to start it. I want it to be what it you know, you already get what I'm saying. You get it. Out the mud. When he already got, you know what I'm saying? He done already went through the mud. He already been through that shit and set his foundation. Set it. And yet me, as a youngster, now even though nobody even taught me to think that way or whatever the case was, I think it was kind of implanted in a way though. I think we all are. We all are in like taught that there is how it's supposed to be. But where can you get like that? Because just say if I had the mind frame of like, okay, he already then got it out the mud, then started it, cleared the mud or whatever you want to call it, set a foundation. And if I already had that mind state as a youngster, I could have prepared for that there. I could have prepared to prepare myself well, very well for what it was, because for what it was that was going to be coming to me, because I know that it's there. It's actually mine. It's his at that point. But when it comes down to it, I know eventually it's going to be mine. Why else would it be? Who else is it going to be? You know what I'm saying? If I had set myself or prepared myself, which I was in the state to be able to do so, but here I am trying to prepare myself to start something of my own, doing it the exact same way that he already did it, taking a step backwards, steps plural, not singular, backwards to start it over again for no reason at all, none whatsoever. I'm trying to make sure I look at that now. I'm gonna try to look at you. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? For no reason at all. And that was tripping to me. Like, well, and I thought about that a while ago. I was like, damn, why was I thinking like that? You know, why did I? Because I already knew what was up initially, although it was never said. But what's understood ain't got to be explained. I already knew what the case was. I knew. Eventually, you know, it might be a sad thing to even think about, but at the same time, it's still very real. Eventually, one day, your pops may leave here, just like how he did. And everything that it is that he set on his cornerstone is meant for you to, or that foundation, it's meant for you to build on top of. So why didn't I prepare myself for that? Because I was taught to get it up out the mud. I was taught that there was what it is that we're supposed to glorify, how we're supposed to get it. But at the same time, that there is exactly what it is that keeps us in the state that we stay in. They get it out the mud, mind frame. No other generations after you. Yeah, every generation after you has to get it out the mud like how you did. But no other family, no other race, no other culture, nothing like that celebrates this. Nobody else thinks like that. How do you think the Rockefellers got to where they got to now? You think they got it out the mud? I'm pretty sure that it was one individual that probably had to get it out the mud. Just one. Everybody else after him just built on top of what it was that he did already, right? Just like anybody else who has built generational wealth, they had to get it from somebody who had already been doing it and just come in and try to make it better in their own way, right? But yet we glorify that mud shit for what? That bottom shit for what? It don't get us nowhere. It keeps us stagnant. It keeps us in the mud. In the mud. Because how far can you get in one lifetime? One person, one lifetime. How far can you get? And we all know that. We all know it. We all see it. By the time, even if you do good, some niggas get a little bit lucky or whatever the case is, but if they keep that same mind frame and everybody else after them keep that same mind frame, it don't matter what he did. It don't even matter. They're going to be doing the same thing, or at least attempting to do the same thing that he did. Because that's how we were taught. We were taught that. Get it out the mud. Yeah, stay down there in the mud. Crawfishing things. Crawfishing things. You know what I'm saying? Stay down there in the mud. And keep trying to build your own shit. Instead of understanding that you have to work together in a fashion, in a way, to where it works in generation. Nothing that it is that you need generationally. Nothing that it is that you do right now is for you. Nothing. It's for what comes after you. That is the case. But that there is the problem that it is that we have. Nobody can never have nothing as black people because we all want it as individuals. Instead of understanding that shit is supposed to be meant for them, who comes next, or not, if not even for them, for who comes after them. How long do you think it took the Rockefellers to get to how it is that they got there? How long do you take? How long do you think that it take? That it took, my bad. But that's real talk though. Generational, years and generations and all this time. Majority of the time, anything that it is that we build has been destroyed, right? So majority of that knowledge will be destroyed along with that too. But if we know that, then maybe we can work on that. But we don't. We're shown every day that, hell, we're supposed to get it up out the mud. That there is more respectable, more honorable. But if somebody was passed down something like that or whatever the case is, shit, he didn't get it up out the mud. Shit, that nigga ain't had to work for shit. Shit, he ain't this and that. But at the same time, what does that do to that person who received that? What does that do to him or her? You know what I'm saying? Makes them feel like they not welcome, or they not part of what it is that their culture is, because they had a step ahead. Because they parents or they elders or something like that left them something to be able to build on, left them a foundation, and we'll sit there and clown them for that. Like it's something bad. What are you talking about? That's dumb. That's the crab in the bucket mentality. That's all it is. Crab in the bucket mentality. But yet we'll sit here and glorify it and think that that is what's right. Because, like I say all the time, we believe everything that we told. Follow everything that they say that we should follow. Everything. We fools. We're fools like a motherfucker. That's why most people don't like to hear me talk, because I tell it how it actually is. We're dumb as fuck. As solid and as real and as godlike and as talented, as spiritual as everything that it is that we are, because we are everything that it is that this world is. Everything that it is that God is in the flesh. But yet we fools. We were duped. They played us in many different types of ways. And it took a very long time to do so. But they got it accomplished. But at the same time, you still got people like me and people like out there who are still trying to get people to see what it actually is. Stop falling for this bullshit. None of that shit does good for you. None of that hood shit. None of this bottom boy mentality, bottom girl mentality, all this bullshit that comes down to with being the lowest form of human being as how other people see it out here in the world, because majority of the time that's how they look at us. Only because we believe it. If we didn't believe it, we wouldn't do it. If we didn't believe it, we wouldn't listen to it. It don't matter what their laws are or what it is that they try to put in place of us, or obstacles they try to put in the way. It wouldn't matter. Shit don't matter. We're on our own path, on what it is that we're trying to do. After all the other places that we done had destroyed, we should be doing it again. Again. To do it better. To protect ourselves better. Majority of what it is that we know how to do, and all the weaponry and armory and all kind of stuff like that it is that they have. Who do you think they got it from? There's many things I feel like I need to talk about. But this one right here was about this. That bottom boy, get it out the mud ass shit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Build something to be able to pass to your children and keep that for them. Let them know that is for them. Because if it was anything that could have helped this situation, and I don't blame my father, I don't. But if it was anything that could have helped this situation, it's him sitting me down and letting me know while he was living live and well and telling me, Charles, this here is going to be for you. You are up next. What are you going to do with it? I've done as much as I can do. Next time it's your turn. By the time I heard anything like that for that, it was very, very early for me. Like, kind of shocking in a way. Although I always knew, but to hear it from him was different. You feel what I'm saying? It would have made a difference for him to just actually straight up let me know. This is my plan. I plan on leaving this to you. I want that. If you want it, then that threat, you know what I'm saying? And I know my pops, you know what I'm saying? And he don't want me doing something that I don't want to do. But sit me down, let me know that way I can actually let you know. That way you know. That way you know if you need to do something different. You know? Tell me. Hey, this right here, I want it to be there. I've been building this all this time for you to be able to pass on to you. That way you can pass it on to your children, your kids, or your son, or whatever the case is, you know. If you don't want it, that's fine. But this here is why I have been doing it. And we can have a real conversation in between each other, amongst each other, and understand. A real understanding. Even if I don't want to, I will still have a real understanding of it. Maybe I needed to hear some shit like that to be able to, you know what I'm saying, know that, hey, it's time for me to get on, you know what I'm saying, this and that, you know. 57 is when he passed. Young. Middle age. I guess that's all I have to say. There's many more things that I could say, but I'll just try to do more videos. Got a lot of new things going on, you know what I'm saying, and things are going real. They're like they going good. They looking up for me, actually. I thank God every day. I do. I thank God. Thank God for what it is that I'm doing. I thank God for the way that things are going. I thank God for everything. I do. Because he is really presenting himself and showing himself and trying to show me that, Charles, it's time for you to get on track. And I can see it. I can actually hear it. So yeah. But I ain't forgot about y'all. Y'all just know how I do. I'll be on my type of time until I feel like it's, hey, time for me to drop something. And it's always a pleasure fucking with y'all on the real. I-20 East Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Come through and fuck with me. It is what it is. I love y'all. And salute.